What's up, beautiful people? This is Sports Counterpoints podcast. I'm GB. That's Brian S. Coop. What's up, fellas? How are y'all doing on this wonderful fall night? How are you
I wonder
guys,
why
man?
you're so happy. What could possibly have happened recently?
Man,
I'm good, man. Good.
Life
Rough
is
week
good,
for me.
man.
You got,
I see you.
you dusted off the doo-doo and came out with some sunlight, but the rest of us,
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
just got
man,
the
I don't
doo-doo.
even know what y'all talking about, man.
well. See, I'm pissed off, and you wearing your hat with pride right now. So it's like
Yeah,
I
like I
mean,
said, and I'm
this
sad.
this thing, man. I
I'm
just
crying
had
to my
this on, bro.
Cheerios.
yeah.
I just had this on. This is I don't even know what y'all talking about. We'll get into that. Let's start off
Okay.
with today we'll kick it off with a little bit of NBA. NBA season's in full swing. We're a few games in, so everybody's already had some action now. Let's talk about who you guys like, don't like, kind of get your thoughts on who might make the playoffs. We talked about the in-season tournament, any thoughts you have on that. So we'll kind of kick around the NBA for a minute, and then we'll slide to the NFL and we'll get up out of here and let people get on with their day or night or whenever they decide to watch us, listen to us, whatever it is. We appreciate you all. So yeah, it's November the 1st, 2023, and we are talking about the NBA. So kick it off, guys. Who do you guys got? Let's start with the East Coast, man. What do y'all for the Eastern Conference? Kind of who you think's gonna be in the playoffs? Who are you excited to see? Just general NBA looks.
I'll kick off the East. B, you kick off the West.
Okay.
The Eastern Conference. Look, what I've noticed over the last few years, the Boston Celtics take the regular season very, very seriously. They just put up 155 tonight, and I think it was on the Pacers.
Damn.
And then I think they blew somebody else out in the last game as well. So the Celtics, ever since Brad Stevens got there, they take every regular season game seriously and they play hard and they try to win every single game. So I expect them, because they're a little bit younger than Milwaukee, I expect them to take the top spot, a top seed in the Eastern Conference. Doesn't mean they're going to win the championship, but the top seed in the Eastern Conference. They're 4-0 right now. Another team I'm interested in watching now that they've traded James, actually not watching, but seeing how they do, is the 76ers now that they traded James Harden. They're 2-1 right now. We'll see if they get better like most teams, like all teams do when Westbrook is gone, but I'll see how the dynamic of that team changes. The Bucks, of course, we discussed already, but a team that I have as a surprise team to make the playoffs this year is the Orlando Magic. I think the Orlando Magic will not only get in the playing game, but also be the 8th seed this year in the playoffs. So that's my surprise team. And then right now, with the Heat going 1-4, being 1-4 right now, wouldn't surprise me if they were one of those, if there was a first round exit this year. It seems like, they overachieved the last few years and got to a couple of finals, but couldn't get it done. But usually teams like that, or a run like that, ends pretty quickly. They're not viable for 5, 6, 7 years. And I think their run might end this year. B, anything you want to say about the Eastern Conference?
Yeah, I'm with you on the Boston Celtics getting the best record for exactly the same reason. They take the regular season very, very seriously. They value getting that home court advantage throughout. It's important to them. It's important for them to play in front of their fans. They usually have a really outstanding home win percentage, and they like to leverage that. After that, I think it's obviously the Milwaukee Bucks in the East, and then maybe the 76ers. But I'm not even sure that the 76ers don't pull the plug on that team if they realize, they've got Maxey. Maxey's really good, and they've got Embiid. But if at some point in time they realize that Maxey and Embiid are not enough to win a championship, I wouldn't be surprised if we're trusting the process again, with Maxey as the new building block and Embiid getting shipped for a ton of draft picks from some organization. People have already talked about New York. I'm with you actually on Orlando. I think that they are a team that could sneak into the playoffs. I don't think they're going to make much noise if they do, but I do think it would be a nice surprise to see them get there. I'm also with you on Miami. I think Miami will figure it out and get in the playoffs. But I think the problem is that they've gotten old and they weren't able to get younger. So it's one of those difficult situations for a team to be in, where they wanted to make trades, they wanted to do things to try and get better. Those trades weren't available to them because they became a popular destination and people wanted to go there. That meant that everybody said anywhere but there. And as a result, they weren't able to get better. They had some retirements. They had, a couple other folks. And then, Jimmy Butler, who has done an outstanding job of carrying this team for years. He's a year older. And, he already got a game off for rest. And we're 5 games into the season. it's difficult at a certain point in time to be able to carry a team, and you can't do it when you're taking nights off, even if you want to. You can't be the carrying block of a team on every with taking a back-to-back off.
Yeah.
But anyways, hopefully it all works out well.
Yeah. G,
Yeah, I
any
agree.
thoughts?
I think, for me, it's there's a couple of teams I'm just kind of curious to see. I mean, I think you guys kind of nailed the top guys. We all kind of have anyone who's watching basketball kind of has an idea of who's going to be good, right? On the conference side. I'm curious always about the Cavs with Spida and them, and then also what Jordan Poole does in Washington. Not like we're going to see a ton of their games. They're making the playoffs, but I'm just curious to see if he's going to, is he going to be able to be the man now and ball out? The highlight that's been circulating is him shooting a corner three and trying to turn on it like he's Curry and missing the shot. So I'm just curious to see if his ego goes past his game or if it catches up. That kind of stuff is what I'm curious about. I think you guys mentioned all the top teams. We'll see what the Hawks do too. They're still always in the conversation. I just don't know that they have enough to win it. But I like DeJounte and I think Trey can play. How you feel about him personally is whatever, but he's exciting to watch in those spots. So we'll see.
He puts up shots.
Yeah, he's
he
gonna put up
gets
some shots and he's gonna score.
Yeah, you'll get your money's worth on them shots.
Yeah,
That's
he's
it, right?
He's a very entertaining person to watch loose.
That's kind of it, right? Like, I mean, they push teams to the brink in the playoffs, and they surprise some cats, but I don't know it's enough to win it all. So we'll see what happens there. I heard the stadium's nice. I haven't been. I was in Atlanta, so shout out to Spellhouse Homecoming. That's why my voice sounds like this because I was turned all the way up. So it was a great time. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I just got the little voice thing. So yeah, so that's the East. Give me the West, man. What are you guys thinking about our side of the bracket?
So I think you got to expect that Denver's going to repeat as the best record in the Western Conference. I think that's kind of just expected. I do think that Dallas will have a decent record. I just don't think they're going to be able to do much more than that. And then now you have to figure out. And I think it's way too early. I mean, they're beating up on the Lakers right now, but that's without Harden. But I do think that the Clippers are going to probably be able to make some noise in the regular season on the rare occasions that all four of these players who don't play every night, except for Westbrook. If you want me to say something nice about Westbrook, he does play pretty much every night. Like he shows up. But that's the end of that. And then we can go on to the other three who who take some time off. Harden has now quit on his last three teams. And I do mean quit. Basically said, I won't play. You need to do this. You need to do that. Made demands. I don't know why we should expect that he's not going to do it with the Clippers. Some might say, well, he's there with Westbrook. Remember, he was there with Westbrook in Oklahoma. He was there in Westbrook in Houston. So it is not going to be the calming presence of Russell Westbrook that's going to lead him to not complaining about things if things get bad. But I do wonder what will happen to this team if for whatever reason they underperform. I don't think that this team, this super team, is going to get the same leeway that the Heat got when they started off with a struggle because they were trying to gel and
what would count as?
I think they're going to be expected sooner than that. Sorry.
What do you think would count? No, what would count as underperforming to that point? What do you think would be underperforming for this team?
I don't really need to. To me, when Westbrook got there, they started losing actually, right? And then Paul and Kawhi got hurt. And when Westbrook was by himself, he actually started to, balance things out a little bit. I think you could be in line trying to figure out how to meld the personalities on the court. It would be difficult. They could lose games that they should win against top teams. And if it were me, I would be like, yeah, that's totally understandable. Makes total sense. But I think Ballmer is expecting that this big swing for Harden, who is not under a contract next year, that this big swing is going to be reciprocated with a lot of wins pretty immediately. And I wonder if he doesn't get that, if he doesn't make a move to move Kawhi or Paul George on. There's already been lots of talks about Paul George going somewhere else. like back to the East Coast. There's already been talks about whether or not Kawhi is more valuable as a name on a trading block than he is as a player on your team. And you know, I wonder if Ballmer won't go that way. That's a lot of talk about a team that I hate. You know, going on to teams I'm more interested in seeing. New Orleans is going to be really interesting to watch, right? You know, Zion is
a lot of your favorites
playing basketball for at least the next couple weeks. You know, and he's a really good basketball player at times when he plays. That's a lot of caveats. And they've got a lot of players on that team. So, you know, they could be really interesting if healthy. The Sacramento Kings are an interesting young team who I expect to try and sneak into the playoffs. I would hope that at some point in time, the Lakers, you know, kind of get their stuff together. It's weird to think how big an impact Jared Vanderbilt will make when he comes back, but he's out right now. And they have, I can't even remember the dude's name. It's no one you ever heard of and nobody you wanted to see on a roster. But they got him filling in right now, and they're suffering a little bit when it comes to size and the ability to play some defense. So ultimately, Jared Vanderbilt might be a difference maker for a Laker team, which tells you all you need to know about, you know, where this team fits into the pack, right? We're talking about 4 superstars in the Clippers, 2 superstars in Dallas, 2 or 3 superstars in New Orleans, superstars in Denver, and Jared Vanderbilt being an impact player on a team where LeBron is now being limited to no more than 28, 29 minutes a night. So anyways, that's kind of my outlook. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention, I don't think the Suns are going to be able to perform to everyone's expectations. I expect that the Suns will make the playoffs, but I expect that the Suns don't have enough of whatever it is that help you win playoff games to do it in the West. Because I think you would probably take 1 through 8 of the West against anyone other than number 1 in the East. And we saw that last year. I mean, the Lakers were the last team in there. They were the play-in team, and they made it to the Western Conference Finals. And I'm pretty sure they would have won the championship had they not lost to them.
Okay.
Yeah. Western Conference, as a Laker fan, I don't think we're going to win the title the way his team is constructed, only because I've never seen a team win when their star player is not in their prime. We got 2 of them, and both of them are old. So I know y'all Anthony Davis only like 28, 29, but he's old, and they just re-signed him to an extension.
In tall guy years, yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. But just of the other teams in the conference, I know Portland's going to be bad, and they're going to struggle to score. They played Detroit today, which doesn't play any defense, so they put up 110. But overall, they're going to struggle to score and not be that good. So are the Rockets. As far as the top teams, I think I'm with you, Brian, either that the Nuggets will probably win out. I just can't trust the Mavericks to hold on to a number 1 seed all year. The Warriors definitely won't win another title again. The Clippers are interesting because they have James Harden, who pretty much demands a trade every year and a half or so. The Pelicans are actually a fun watch. If they're all playing, if Zion, if Ingram, McCollum, if all those guys are playing, the Pelicans are actually a fun watch. And I don't think they'll win a title, but I think if they're all healthy and playing well together, they can win a playoff series. Now, and this never happened, but I think they have the ability to do that. But it's all relying on, like you said, all those caveats regarding Zion Williams and can he play? Because when he plays, they are definitely a better team. The Kings are the Kings. I do expect them to make a playoff run. I don't think they'll be one of the top seeds, but I expect them to be in there. The Thunder bore me. The Spurs, the only reason I watch the Spurs is to see whatever his name, Adi Asanya. Yeah,
Bayama,
yeah. Timberwolves, I don't want to watch 2 8-footers on the court all the time. Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, because it makes it a little harder for Anthony Gordon to penetrate the middle. And then I'm with you on the Suns. I don't think the Suns are going to be as good as everybody thinks. It's almost like the Lamar Jackson thing, where you kind of want Lamar to do a more running because he's very, very good at that. But they have the Suns have Devin Booker playing point guard, which I don't think utilizes his ability as a shooter that much when he has to create for others. It kind of takes away from his shooting. I'm necessarily not a fan of that, but it looks like the Suns are, and Devin's okay with it. But overall, I think with him and Bill and Durant, I don't think they figure it out to get to a championship. And plus, I don't think Bill has even played. He's been out. I didn't see him in the box score for 2 or 3 games. So they're already doing load management over there. Other than that, I don't really have any more opinions on the Western Conference. I just hope the Lakers make a playoffs and are healthy and can make a run.
Yeah, that's interesting with the Suns because it seems like, I mean, they had Chris Paul, but a point guard would kind of make sense for them in that regard.
Yes.
You have all
Yes.
these guys, someone to kind of
You're a point
manage.
guard.
Yeah, with those
Yeah,
scores, yeah, you
yeah,
definitely want a
manage the
point guard.
ball, manage the
Yeah.
game. You're gonna have Devin Booker at the end of the game trying to run the offense, but also
Yeah.
looking to score. And KD can bring the ball up too. He's a great ball handler, but he is also has the same thing. Beal's the same, right? Like, yeah, let's run the offense, but also like if we're about to run the play and I see I'm open, I'm going to the lane.
Yeah.
So that's
Seems kind of
interesting.
awkward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I mean, it's
Kings.
like what I tell Warrior fans. It's like, why do you want Steph to play point for? He's the best shooter ever. If you pay him at point to have him create for others, you're taking away from his shooting. You don't want to do
Yeah.
that, or else I wouldn't want to do that. So yeah, I'm with you.
Exactly why they got TP. The Nuggets, I guess I'm curious because they did lose some players. Anytime you win a championship, people start posting your players, right? So, excuse me, I'm curious to see what they do. Warriors, of course, are going to be the Warriors. Kings, I just want to see them in the mix, right? I don't think they're ready for a title, but a few years of being in the playoffs would be great for the city
Yeah,
and great for that program and great for Mike Brown. I like Mike Brown a lot. I think he's
I
a
agree
really
to
good
that.
coach for that team. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. The rest of these teams, I have watched a bunch of Wemby's games because they're touting him so hard. They're showing him on every highlight. They really want him to be great. And he
Mhm.
is playing pretty good. He's not bad by any
Right.
means, but
Oh, he's
But
got
they,
a very healthy stat line.
yeah, I'm
but
seeing him all a lot.
they're
though.
showing him just walking. He's just walking,
Exactly.
and they're showing him. Yeah,
Yeah.
So right.
His Halloween costume. He was Slender Man. It's like, yeah, he's tall, he's slender. He didn't need to put a mask on to be
Right.
Slender Man. Like,
Man,
Right.
that was
speaking
just
of
who he was
that,
when he woke up that morning.
thank you, because I almost forgot. B, did y'all see who Paul George was for Halloween?
No.
Waldo. Of all
From
people.
Family Matters.
No.
No,
Well,
where's
damn,
Waldo?
good reference.
Oh, where's
Also,
Waldo? Oh, okay.
where's
All right.
Waldo? Which is
Okay.
funny because if anything happens in the playoffs, they are
They're gonna
using
be
that
like,
picture directly.
Right.
Where's Paul?
100%. Hey,
Yeah.
one thing you guys were talking about. You were talking about a point guard for Phoenix, and now they need kind of a pure point guard. Now it's obvious that they could not keep CP3 in that role because
Doesn't make sense.
Damn much.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Dollars and cents. But I think you all know this. I'm a big Dennis Schroeder fan. I've always been I thought they should have kept him.
Yeah,
his
yeah.
defense and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They should have gotten him. And I say that because like right now he's top 5. What is it? He's top 5 in assists in the league. I mean, it's only 5 games in.
Yeah.
8.8 assists. He plays great defense, and he's probably dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And he's on a Toronto team that's probably not going to make the playoffs. If I were them, I would be thinking about what I could do to peel him away.
That's a great piece.
Yeah,
Well,
because he is
that's
a
a good
great
idea.
playoff piece.
That's
He doesn't
great.
cost a lot of money. He plays great defense. He's a decent shooter, plus side shooter, and he can dish the ball. He's like, he gets.
Well, that's a good point. Let the Phoenix Suns go 23 and 25. I'm sure they probably be in the market to try to get a point guard because they'll realize
or the other way.
Working.
If you're up a few games, like still makes sense because you got to think about the long haul. What you're doing now in the beginning of the year doesn't always work in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at every other person in the top 10, they are all huge names. Halliburton, Young, Doncic, Ball, then Schroeder, Jokic, Simmons, Paul, Murray, and Cade Cunningham. Then Russell at 11. Like literally every single one of those guys, except for Dennis Schroeder, is big money star, not superstar type guy.
Nice GMing right there. Yeah, it ain't bad. I agree. Word. What about the in-season tournament, man? Have you guys? We talked about it, but what do you guys think?
Do you understand it? I actually did research to try and understand this.
I was reading it, but no, I see that what I see is they're going to have new floors for everybody. So that's going to equal, and maybe some new jerseys is what I'm guessing. So that's going to equal some sales. I see money is all I saw.
This is all money. This whole thing is money.
Yeah.
So the best of my ability to understand it, it is an in-season tournament that is broken up into several pieces throughout the first half of the season. The first part happens this weekend where they start pool play, where each conference breaks into 3 5-team pools, and they play pool play. They play each other. And then it goes to sleep. And the teams that advance from pool play all then meet in Las Vegas Las Vegas has become the hottest sports town in the country.
Right.
But they all meet in Las Vegas for another kind of like NCAA style like tournament. That's the best way I can figure it out. I don't know who the pools are. I didn't look that up, but it starts this weekend.
Yep. Randomly selected into 5 groups within their conference based on win-loss records from last year. Is how the pools are made. And then they're just going to basically play the games. You're going to have a tournament night. So, it'll be Friday, like, oh, this is a tournament game. So they're going to have a new court. Each team has a new court that kind of represents the city or whatever, their organization. So you'll have that going, and it's just going to be about bread, I think.
Yeah, it's totally about money. I'm not sure that I understand it. It's a basketball game. That's like a basketball game. I believe these even count towards their end of the season records as well.
Yeah.
Not just the.
They will. That's correct.
Yeah.
They will.
Everything but the championship.
Yeah. So in the end, really, whatever. It's the basketball game I'll be watching on Friday night. Great. I did get the NBA League Pass this year, which I have not done in years.
Nice.
But it was like $5 a month on Amazon Prime.
What? The NBA season pass?
Yeah. Just get it through Amazon Prime. It was $5 a month. It was $60 for the season. Like, yeah, okay, I can do that.
That's not bad.
Oh yeah, that's less than the price of one ticket.
Yeah, I got 6 TVs. I can put 4 games on and some football on a Saturday or whatever.
Yep. That ain't bad. Whatever. Okay.
Hey Glenn, you need to pay for that.
I probably should as someone that watches this stuff. And it's not like it's expensive. I'm just like, am I gonna watch enough games? I should though. I should. Word. Okay. Any other thoughts NBA wise? Anything else you're curious about or wonder how it's gonna work or?
No, good.
All right. So we started about 8:30. We're almost at 9, so we're about a half hour in. So I think we're going straight to the NFL, man. So let's do kind of how we always do. Let's start with our teams. And then we can talk about the last week and the next week and we'll get up out of here. So
but we got to talk about a couple of these trades too that happened too. I want to get Brian's thought.
Let's do that first.
Okay. But let's go with Brian. Start with your team because you lost Kirk with the Achilles and now you got Dobbs. How you feel about it?
I've said this, I think probably to both of you in group chats and whatnot. It's weird when a big win against your big conference rival
been a big loss
is the worst day of your season.
Crazy.
Right?
Crazy.
And that's literally what happened. Kirk Cousins was playing exceptionally well tonight. He was coming off of a game where he played lights out last week. I'm not saying that I'm now becoming a Kurt evangelist, but I did say last week that, these next few games were going to determine whether or not they'd played themselves out of the May and Caleb conversation, and therefore should probably offer Kirk Cousins a contract. I think it may end up that he gets that because he will now go down in price. He lost millions because this is a 6 month to 1 year recovery, and he's not going to be able to build the market for it. Now there's some team that might offer him something, but I think ultimately, I think right now, if I were the Vikings, I would find a way to keep him there, given what's going on. Now, let's talk about it. It is not a good thing when the player you traded for was benched the day before. Josh Dobbs, who had been the starter for Arizona for the entire season, had been benched the day before for Toon. I don't know his first name. I doubt you all do either.
I thought it was, but could this also be, because Dobbs was not playing terribly. Yeah, they were staying in those games.
Right. How do you know, Brian, they weren't trying to trade him? How do you know they weren't trying to trade him?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, they didn't want to get him injured, or they were setting it up to bring Kyler back regardless of what happens.
But they literally put an announcement out that they were benching Dobbs and starting Toon, and that Murray was going to start opening, possibly going to start opening his practice period around, which goes on for 4 or 6 weeks, whatever it is. So it's just not a good feeling when it's like, hey, you just got benched for a guy that nobody knew was in this football league. And then the next day, even if they were planning on trading him, the trade deadline was Tuesday. They could have announced on Wednesday, today, that they were making that move. They went out of their way to put something out on Monday morning that they had moved on and were going to Toon. So what do I think about Dobbs? You all said it. I mean, he's not horrible. He's not
not at
bad. But he's a guy who will hopefully keep you in games. I would feel much better about this trade if we had a good defense. And we have a better defense, but we don't have a good defense. And that's one of the reasons why Arizona's suffering. Connor they had the game where they won, and that was because Connor was there. So a good running game and a good defense, Dobbs can get you wins. Guess what we don't have? We don't have a good running game, and we don't have a great defense. We have great wide receivers. We have lots of weapons. So I will say that I think the very close to completed trade for Jameis Winston would have actually been a better deal because he's going to throw 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. But he will absolutely have kept Addison, Hawkinson, and JJ engaged because he's going to just like run deep. I'm throwing it. You all will have all the 50-50 balls you've ever wanted. And that would at least keep those guys engaged, which I think is more the concern than winning. Like, I'm not worried about us winning anything. We weren't going to do that. I am worried about Addison and JJ and Hawkinson getting antsy around the conservative offensive play calling and deciding that they maybe don't want to be a Minnesota Viking going beyond this year.
Well, JJ's getting paid. He's not going nowhere.
Well, look, I mean, it's a downgrade at quarterback, and we could debate whether he's good or not. We don't think, of course, we both don't think he's very, very good. But I think the Vikings did a good job of not falling for, the Kaepernick videos or Carson Wentz videos thrown in parks and open grass areas. And I think it's good that they didn't get. I think it's good they didn't get Jameis Winston because he plays for both teams, so you never really know what you're getting.
Damn.
They traded a 6th-round pick for a 7th. For a veteran quarterback who got thrown into a situation in Arizona, let's be honest, nobody thought that situation was good. And he was kind of functional. I think you can still win the division with Dobbs. I really do. I just think the division is still there for the taking. And it's not like the NBA, where teams tank. You know what I mean? You guys still tried to go for it. So, I mean, that's respect there. You know what I mean? You could have just threw in the towel and started selling off players and just kept Jefferson and just rebuild and start the rookie quarterback. But you still can win the division. You can't throw a rookie in there. You got to get somebody. And I think maybe that's why Arizona benched him. I don't know, but it's a possibility. But I don't think you're totally out of it. It's a downgraded quarterback, but I don't think you're out of it. Vikings are trying to go forward and do something. I don't think you're committed to him after this year anyway. So
no, Dobbs is a one and done. He's there for the season, which is why I think. So the other thing that I think was telling, Kirk Cousins came out last week and was asked about whether or not he wanted to be traded. He said, "Look, I always wanted to be a 1-team guy. If I can't be a 1, I definitely don't want to be more than 2. I'm committed to being here this year, which is why I won't be traded. And I want to be there in the future." It was wonderful. He said all the right things, and then he got hurt.
Always do.
And then he backed it up by he is showing up even the very next day, which was Halloween and the next Monday, showing up and being part of all of the onboarding for Jaron Hall, helping out with Dobbs. And he said that he's going to stay all season with the team. He's not going to do the disappearing act.
I think he went to the children's hospital too and signed autographs. Like, did it all.
Yeah. Well, he signed autographs at the practice facility too on Halloween. I don't think he can win big games, but he is an absolutely 100% class person.
He did the last 2 weeks though.
He killed it the last 2 weeks.
And on a side note, why were people saying take Green Bay? Have they seen Jordan Love play? I don't understand why Green Bay everybody was picking them to beat Minnesota. I'm like, Minnesota just beat the 49ers, and they have a quarterback who's, I don't know, competent. And people were picking Green Bay. What was the final score of that game, Brian?
We won by 14. It was our first game.
Won by
14. Over 8 points.
Right, and it was a 1-point spread favored by Green Bay. Yeah. So all of you bet Green Bay.
It started off as pick 'em and only went to 1 point.
Right. So all of you to pick Green Bay, shame on yourself. You need to listen to this podcast more. Okay, go ahead.
Go to Peerless One Sports.
Yeah, go to Peerless One Sports. Yeah, that's right. There you go.
All right. So couple. I don't know how many you want to get into, Coop, but my next one was in your division. The Seahawks get Lenny Williams. What do you think about that?
They probably gave Leonard Williams is a good player. I don't want to see another defensive lineman go against our offensive line. I've seen that enough this year. Yeah, I mean, that was a good move by Seattle. I think they gave up a second throw. They probably gave up a little bit too much. I don't know, but Pete Carroll can he knows defensive talent. If there's anything you can say about him, he knows defensive talent, and Leonard Williams can play. I think he screwed up the Jamal Adams thing, but mostly Pete Carroll has gotten it right. So I don't want to see him. But the one thing I do want to tell you though is when we got Chase Young, I wasn't a Chase. I mean, those of you who I guess like Tosh, you listened to this podcast from the very beginning. I wasn't a Chase Young fan when he came out of college. But we got him now. Montez Sweat is better. He went to the Bears, but I'm not mad at it once I saw the details of the trade. And the reason why is we only gave up a 3rd round compensation pick for him. And
he's on a try and buy.
Right. He's on the season. Right. He's gone. And so when he leaves in the season, guess what we get? A 3rd round compensation pick. So we're not losing anything and forking over money for years, to keep him. So the 49ers have taken full advantage of the minority hiring 3rd round compensation pick rule by getting several guys jobs like Robert Saleh, Mike McDaniel, D'Amico Ryan, the guy from Washington, Martin Mayhew. He's a GM of Washington. He was with the 49ers and got that job. So we got 3rd round pick from him and a 3rd round pick for the GM of the Titans, Rand Carthon. So the 49ers are racking up these compensation picks and they're using them to trade for players. I'm not sure how much he's going to help because we are in trouble. We need a lot of help offensively and defensively, but we'll see what happens. So it's risk-free. So I'm not worried about it.
I like that.
One thing I didn't comment on when we were talking about the Dobbs trade is how much we gave up to him, which was literally nothing.
Yeah, 6th round.
Dobbs and a 7th round pick for our 6th round pick.
Right, exactly. So
it's like a 15 spot difference depending on what the records are.
Yeah. I mean, you think about what the Bears did. The Bears gave up a 2nd round pick for Sweat, who is a better player, but that 2nd round pick is going to be 33 or 34. We gave up a pick that's going to be what, 95, 100, you know what I mean? So yeah, I ain't worried about it.
The thing that had me weak, and I love this, like the Niners were, everybody's saying it's Steve Wilks, right? Steve Wilks played on the backside of the defense, whereas D'Amico and Saleh were on the front side of the defense.
I thought that was astute.
That's how they make the defense, right? To that point. Mm-hmm. So they weren't getting pressure on the front end, right? Which is going to make your corners look worse. So they got more front end help in Chase Young on a rental, like Brian said, to try and buy. The thing that I love that the Niners will make a swing and go for it. I love John Lynch for that. He's going to try. It just also makes me laugh. And like when I was watching the game against the Vikings, I was like, yeah, the defense, but also that boy Brock was running everywhere. So it's like we didn't get an O-line help. We went straight again.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And I've been saying the O-line for years because it's always been the quarterbacks are fragile.
Me too.
And I owe you an apology, group. You wasn't lying. They fragile in a mug. Quarterback was fragile in a mug, boy. You was. Hey man, I didn't watch all the games. I want to apologize to you on the show, man.
I'm just saying, man.
But
it's
I just thought that was funny. But we'll see what y'all do. I think the one thing I'll say about the Niners that makes me laugh is I know I was saying I wanted to see them have some, go through some adversity and grow like this. Right. Y'all can stop now, though. I seen what I needed. Like, damn, I didn't know everything I wanted. I was like, okay, cool. He lost the players. He had to work. Okay, through some picks. That's good. I didn't need like 7 games of it. I just thought 1 or 2. Like, damn.
We haven't talked about our teams yet. When we do, I'll do that for you. Don't worry. Yeah. Don't worry.
Any other trade that
we have to have a Russell Westbrook update. He just missed a 1-foot layup, and the Lakers just took the lead as a result.
Oh damn! Lakers took the lead.
Yeah, we were down 12 a second ago.
They were down 13 at the half, got down 15 at the beginning, and now they're up
one of these days when we do the show a little later in the week, I'm gonna do it as a drinking game and see how many shots in I get.
That's fine. Hey, excuse me, everybody. I'm about to stand up and change the channel to the Lakers game now because it was off. Go ahead real quick. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about another trade while he's gone. We can talk about Sweat to the Bears. That's in my group. Anyways, like Sweat's a very, very good player. I don't know why Washington decided to give up on it. I was watching something earlier today that was talking about how it doesn't make any sense for them to do what they're doing in the middle of the season because they're clearly going to do a rip and replace. They're gonna fire the coaches. They're gonna clean house. It's a new owner. This is what happens. This is what they do. It happens. But to then get rid of the talent that the new coach could possibly have cements a bad situation and makes it so much worse. So I don't understand why they were doing it. On the flip side, I don't know why the Bears were buyers. They clearly have more belief in their team than to be the worst team in a bad division this year. if they are going out and trying to trade for one season players to fill in who are credible players. So, that's a very interesting trade. I don't know that anyone won or lose. I think everyone just will stay the same. I don't think the Bears are going to be better. I don't think that Washington's going to, if a tree falls in the forest, if Washington loses a player, does anybody even notice?
Brian, you have said a couple of things that I want to say.
Okay.
We have a new member of the stick a fork in them team. Stick a fork in them. Season's over. I'm not talking about them extensively anymore. Green Bay, Denver, Carolina, New England now has a new member joining them, and that's the Chicago Bears, who are the dumbest team in free agency. They gave up a second-round pick, the most valuable commodity in the NFL, because you can get first-round talent and a plug-and-play immediate starter on the cheap for Montez Sweat, who they probably could have gotten free agency after the season anyway, because they're going to have to overpay regardless if they do it after the season with the Washington or with the Chicago Bears. It's not like they're going to get a discount because now he's on the team. Now his agent knows he has leverage because you traded for him, so you're going to want to keep him at all costs. So that's just terrible roster management, and the Bears just keep doing. They're the dumbest team. They did that with Chase Claypool.
To do what?
Right.
Do they honestly believe that they're going to ascend to the top?
Right.
Look,
they're 2-6.
It's a bad division. I'm part of the division. I'm not saying that it's too hard. I'm simply saying they're that bad.
Right.
And I don't blame Fields, although he isn't even playing right now. They're just a bad team from beginning to end. Like everybody.
Okay. Well, I blame Fields, and I blame everybody else.
Washington in the stick of fork in him club.
I thought he was too. I swear I thought
that's where he was going with that.
No, it's the Bears, man. They did that with Chase Claypool last year, gave up a second-round pick. The Steelers got Joey Porter Jr. Who you think the Bears would rather have, Joey Porter or Chase Claypool, who they said don't come back until we trade you? So that was just stupid. Now, for Washington, so this is why I think he did it, Brian. I think the owner, because the owner is
the owner's just done. He's just racing the whiteboard.
Well, no, the owner owns the Philadelphia 76ers. And I think he was part of the process. I think he's trying to do the same thing with the Washington, but it doesn't work in the NFL like that. I don't think you can do that.
No, you don't get as many years.
It didn't work. Right. It didn't work in Philadelphia. You're right.
In Philly either. Yeah.
Well,
and so Embiid eventually became a real player. They just didn't get all of those guys.
Right.
Brian Robinson is their big young talent there. John Dotson. That's a big, like, those guys they're not going to be there when they get whoever they're going to get and build with build.
Yeah. I think Rivera still has another, year or two on his contract. And what they're saying is,
well, he'll be part of the greatest club in America.
NFL
coaches club.
But this is what I heard. They said this guy paid so much for the team that he's highly financially leveraged, so he might not be able to afford to buy him off. Financially leveraged to everybody means he's in a lot of debt, and they don't think he has the money to actually buy him off. So he might have to be there next year. And
the poorest team in the NFL just fired their coach and GM.
That's true too.
Bro, you guys got to stop saying that.
It's the truth.
It's not.
I got one more thing for the fans. All you Washington Air Pilot fans, I think the team might be changing the name again because the owner refuses to wear the Commanders logo. So that leads me to believe he's going to change the name again.
He's going to rebrand it.
Yeah, I definitely would. Any of these other trades that you guys are?
No, that's it for me.
Cool. Let's go to these Niners.
Let's go to these Niners. All right, look, I told you guys last week, I didn't care who started, Purdy or Darnold, that they were going to lose because they lost to the Vikings offense with minus Justin Jefferson. Cincinnati runs the same exact offense with better skill position players. So I knew they were going to lose, and I showed you my bet ticket I made on the over because I knew Cincinnati was going to score 30 if Minnesota put up the points they did against us. Now, the 49ers defense gets talked about a lot by people, but what people don't tell you is even when they were 5-0 against the Cowboys after beating the Cowboys, they were still 28th in stopping the run. The defense just isn't good this year. And people don't talk about Cincinnati's defense, which isn't a slouch. They beat Buffalo in the playoffs last year, and they've given the Kansas City Chiefs all that they can handle over the last couple of years. So this is a good team. The tone of the game was set in the first series of the game for both teams. When both teams first got the ball, the 49ers ran the ball 3 times. What a shock. Didn't get a first down, punted. The Bengals came out in their first possession, pass, run, pass, touchdown. That was the tone of the game right there. Shanahan still wants to go with the same game plans if there's nothing wrong with his team, and the Bengals will come out slinging the ball.
McCaffrey's healthy.
And now, here we go. Everybody wants to put blame. Who's first on the list for blame? It's not Brock Purdy. It's the person who's not getting any blame. It starts at the top. It's Kyle Shanahan. His game plans are burning him. He builds the team to run all the time, the quarterback to play efficient, and play good defense. The 49ers can't run. They ain't playing good defense, and we're seeing too much relying too much on Brock Purdy. We can't rely on him to keep pulling us through games because it ain't worked. It didn't work this week. It didn't work last week, and it could have worked the week before, but it didn't. For some reason, Shanahan just can't deviate from his game plan when everybody can see it's just not working. He's being outcoached. His team is being out-efforted. The team just really didn't have that much effort, and that all starts with the coach. And I also have to, the last 3 weeks, the 49ers have had a turnover or a missed field goal twice inside the Cleveland's 40-yard line, 4 times at the Minnesota 15, 22, 49, and 40, and at the Cincinnati 8 and 26-yard lines. That's 8 miscues. You can't win games playing like that. So, Kyle Shanahan deserves most of the blame, and he deserves a lot of blame because he hired this guy, Steve Wilks. The defense plays with absolutely no passion. They're just out there. You got Bosa missing tackles. You got a whole lot of stuff just going on. If you saw the 49ers for the first time ever in the Cleveland game and then watched them against Minnesota and against Cincinnati, you wouldn't think they were a good team. Wilks begged for the 49ers to get this guy named Isaiah Oliver from the Atlanta Falcons to play slot corner. He is horrendous in man coverage. He's like Josh Norman number 2, giving up the most touchdowns of any slot corner in the NFL. And against the Bengals, he was targeted 8 times and he gave up 8 catches. So,
damn.
But here's the thing. The testament of how bad of a defense coordinator he's been. During the Bengals game, the defensive line had 23 quarterback pressures on Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow completed 19 straight passes. That can't happen in NFL. This isn't high school, okay? What coverages are you calling to get that kind of pressure on a quarterback, but yet they're still competing passes? That's all on the defense coordinator.
Wasn't the one that broke the streak just him throwing it away on a busted route? Like it wasn't like he missed the play. It was just the route didn't work out. Let me just get rid of the ball, which is a smart football play.
I will say though that one of them, he looked like Tecmo, bro. Every lineman was on him. That boy was
and got it out.
Yeah, I was like, damn, that was the Matrix.
Hey,
so
and then
Jason, Oh, go ahead. Finish.
Oh no, I'll say one more thing. I got to give some blame to Purdy. Now, look, he had 422 yards of offense and led the team in rushing, but it was a bad game plan. Had vital players injured, but this NFL, he had drops and no running game, and the special teams was so. But you still can't have those 2 interceptions. That first interception to that defensive lineman was absolutely terrible.
That was crazy.
A very good quarterback does not have that kind of interception to it. Now, I give credit to the defensive lineman. He made one hell of a play, but you just can't. You can't throw that. You just can't. You just can't. Purdy was the only reason the 49ers had a chance last game, and he couldn't get it done again. He's just not that player. He may not ever be that player, but he's definitely not that player right now. So that's my blame list on what's going on with the 49ers. And Brian, I know you said Jacksonville can beat us, and you're right. Jacksonville could beat us. So I hope they figure something out during the bye week because Jacksonville is not a slouch either. They went into Pittsburgh and beat them in Pittsburgh in a Pittsburgh type game, which is actually impressive for Jacksonville. So yeah, I'm done
right now.
Yeah, I'm done talking. Go ahead. Y'all talk about him.
Oh, all I was going to say is I remember some time ago when we were doing the opening show and I said one thing about the 49ers. This team is not going to win a Super Bowl.
You said that every week, yeah.
In the second, yeah. Wait. No, it was the first week. It was the.
No, I said you said it every week.
Every week.
I said it every week. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, and then right now, I'm gonna, Seattle's number 1 in the division. I thought they were going to be second, right behind and very close to the 49ers. So I still thought the 49ers were going to win it. But the Seattle Seahawks are playing good enough football. And that's all I mean. Like, they win barely, very consistently.
Yeah.
Win it's a win.
And you can win divisions that way.
Right.
You lose in the playoffs, right?
Correct.
But you can win divisions that way. So I'm just curious, at this point, not exactly halfway through, but just about, right? Next week is halfway through or whatever, but you're 8 games into the season, 9, whatever. Do you still feel like the 49ers will win the division? I'm not talking about playoffs or Super Bowls or anything else. Win the division.
So here's my response on that. I will think that I can give you a definitive answer on that after the Seahawks game. Because we got Jacksonville, the Buccaneers, and the Seahawks after the
Damn.
Seahawks game. Because the Seahawks game, we played them on a short week on Thanksgiving after only like 4 days off or whatever. So the reason why I want to wait to the Seahawks because they're the number one competition in our division. If they beat us, and we already have a loss, let's just say we lose to Jacksonville, beat Tampa Bay, and then they beat Seahawks, and the Seahawks beat us. I don't know how confident I can be with the Eagles coming up because the Seahawks and the Eagles are on two different levels. The Eagles are a much better team. And if we lose to the Seahawks, we're in trouble against the Eagles. And then after the Eagles, guess what? We play the Seahawks again. So after getting beat up by the Eagles, we play the Seahawks again, which can be 2 losses against the Seahawks. So I can answer that question definitively after the Seahawks game, 3 games after our bye week. And then I'll let you know. Yeah. Because right now, to be honest with you, I don't know. I can't be confident. There are no gimme wins.
So the point that I was going to make, which you just made, is that they got a real tough stretch of schedule coming up. Yeah. They have some things to figure out. They didn't do anything that I think makes a huge difference because bringing line talent to a team that has one of the most talented lines, but still playing defenses that are geared towards the corners and the safeties doesn't change the results.
Correct. Correct.
And so that could be a problem. So anyways, okay.
And you guys know my theory. Defense doesn't win championships. You got to score more points than the other team. I don't give a damn about your defensive lineman. You got to score some damn points. So I don't know. I don't know.
And I think I already talked enough about my team. I don't think Dobbs is enough for a team that's trying to do a historic comeback and make the playoffs to do that, right?
He's got to learn.
Team's ever done it. This is a lot. But we do have the schedule to permit it to be possible. Other than that, hey, Glenn, anything going on with your team?
Yeah, hey Glenn. Glenn, you don't have nothing going on with the Raiders, do you? We can just move on.
Oh man, I'm a little tired because I didn't sleep last night because I was so excited at 10 o'clock when I saw that Josh Daniels and Dave Ziegler had been fired. I liked, I'm the optimist. I was giving him a chance. I'm really proud of Mark Davis because he saw it wasn't working and didn't wait. A lot of times I think it's hard when you're in those situations to admit you were wrong. What Mark Davis did is said I was wrong, and he put his money where his mouth is. McDaniels is on the hook for, I think, 5 more years, right? At like 10 mil. Gruden, I think, still has a couple more years because they had a settlement. I don't know what the settlement was. I get the brokest owner and all that. The brokest owner at my last thing was 1.9 billion. Please let me have 1.9 billion and call me broke. The both of you. I'd love to be that broke.
Their personal holdings and their team's cash flow are 2 different things.
The team cash flow is one of the highest in the league. However, the revenue for tickets, the revenue for non-stadium events,
cash flow, not cash flow.
We can look it up.
All that money. I know. No,
remember, he does not. He does not own that stadium. He's not getting any parking. None. He's getting 0.
There is no parking at the stadium, bro. Have you been out there? Who's parking in Vegas? What are you talking about, Coop? Come on, man.
You can't park at the stadium?
Man, hell no.
It's $100 to $125.
Man, you take you an Uber, brother. Ain't no parking out there. No, crazy. Anyway, either way, whatever we thought, he can't do it. We can stop this conversation because he's doing it. He's getting rid of the asses, which is great. I'm very happy to see him gone. McDaniels is not ever. There was nothing I could look at. Shout out to Mom too, because we were talking about this at nauseum. But there's nothing I can look at McDaniels and say in either tenure that he was good. I think the smartest thing that Tom Brady did is he was able to go to another team that was ready-made and win a championship. Right now, he's the only one of the 3 who's had success without the other 2. The other ones have not had any success, Belichick or McDaniels. They've not been able to do it without Brady. Brady went and won a Super Bowl, which is awesome. So I think that was great to kind of end his chapter. I'm glad McDaniels is gone. He just was stale. When I was watching the game, it was rudimentary, man. Like, you're supposed to be this offensive guru. You can't get players the ball. We just look stupid. Get him out of there. So, I was looking at this earlier. I know who's the richest, but still, we're talking about comparative, not if me and you are both making $25 million and I'm only making 20, we're still, neither of us is broke. But
no. I'm talking about compared to other NFL owners. It's like when I talk about Westbrook, I'm comparing him to other,
that doesn't prevent you from doing what he did, though.
But he's still the poorest. His net worth is $500 million. I just looked it up real quick. He's poor.
Oh,
in NFL owner terms.
Yeah, NFL, right.
Absolutely take his money.
Right.
Right.
We all would.
And his team.
Either way, that's not going to
be
the case. The stadium is getting money hand over fist. They're going to continue to do so. He's going to continue to make money. It's going to only grow. So either way, regardless of what y'all are saying, he's broke. He put his money where his mouth is, and I think Mark Davis.
And he's got a lot of debt from the Oakland days.
Right. Here's what I don't understand. This is what I don't understand about the Raiders, though. What sense does it make to have Devontae Adams with no quarterback? It's not like the Raiders are going anywhere anyway. I mean, Max Crosby's a different story.
On this, and Glenn, let me say it, and you can tell me what you think.
Yeah.
I think when that Tuesday came around after this whole thing, and Devontae was on the sideline and said,
"Yeah,"
I think he decided that people come to see Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs, and they do not come to see McDaniels. And if he wants to get Raider fans, which is a difficult thing to do in Las Vegas these days, to see the games
because it's so expensive
for
all the money.
It's expensive, and you have to go all the time. If they're going to get Raider fans in there, they're going to need those two guys, and McDaniels and the GM are not going to help put butts in seats.
I already told y'all we getting Harbaugh and Caleb Williams, man. Damn, I don't know why y'all not listening. But either way, I think it makes sense. Like everyone's saying that, like, oh, this idea of like, oh, do right by a player, trade him. Is like Devontae's owed $17 million for the rest of the season. Who's sitting with that on the cap? That's a contender. Where are you going to send him? Y'all going to pick him up? Vikings, who's going to get him?
He chose to go to the Raiders too. So
absolutely, he signed that big contract. He's 145. He said in every interview I've seen that he wants to be there. I think this was, this is Mark Davis choosing, to me, admitting he was wrong, taking responsibility for the mistake, getting him out of there, choosing the players and the fans is what he did to me. He chose Devontae and Josh over Josh McDaniels.
I got a question for you.
The answer on who could take on Devontae Adams and is a playoff team and has the cap space
49ers.
is the Detroit Lions.
And 49ers. 49ers over 40. 49ers have over $40 million in cap.
What about next year? What about next year? He's not a one-year deal. He has 4 years left.
I'm just saying. No, I'm just talking about for this year.
Among the league lowest in cap spend right now.
Okay, I got a question for you real quick. I don't want to beat this, but Glenn, do you really have confidence that Mark Davis will get it right and turn the Raiders around? I mean, seriously, do you really have confidence in him?
Let's put it like this, right? Turn it around, meaning what? Like, do I need to be the Niners? Is that what you're saying?
No. To make yourselves a viable yearly playoff team. Yearly. Like, you could pencil, like they do the preseason. Oh, you could pencil the Raiders in for the playoffs. Like, be one of those things. You ain't got to win it. You ain't be a Super Bowl.
Or at least be part of the conversation.
Maybe.
Or be a conversation,
They got the Chiefs are going to be part of that conversation and for a while.
Right. And so let's put it like this. Cincinnati, yeah.
Let's put it like this. These moves give hope. And I think hope is the most powerful and dangerous thing you can have. And in that case, yes, because I'm seeing that he'll make the changes necessary. Get rid of the guy to move him in. We'll see. I like Antonio Pierce in this spot too. So we're going to see how that goes. Well, he's super West Coast. He's super West Coast.
Had to be exactly what you wanted to hear.
Animated.
Antonio Pierce,
he's
you mean
ready
the
to go.
defensive lineman from the Giants? For the Giants?
Yeah.
Him?
Yeah,
he's
going to be he is.
Yeah, he was the linebackers coach, and they made him the head coach.
Now, mind you,
he's getting the rest of the season, and
and you see what happens.
You'll know. I think Glenn and all Raiders fans will know whether or not Mark Davis has figured it out based on who he puts in as the GM.
Yeah,
and if he
correct.
puts the GM in first,
if
he puts the coach in and then finds the GM and
it's
brings
bad.
The coach's GM, it's a wrap. You messed up. If
I
he
agree.
Finds a GM, and it doesn't have to be someone that we know, because I actually really like the Vikings GM.
Nice.
He was a no-name until he got there. But
in
if you
circles.
find someone that embodies the Raider personality and understands how to put a team together, that's what will be huge. Before they figure out who the coach is.
Right.
And at least in the meantime, like the Antonio Pierce, like I said, the press conference, if you're a Raider fan, that's exactly what you wanted to hear.
100%.
He got credit for winning 2 games before he's played one, just by how he approached being.
Heck yeah. And the first thing he said, they said, "Who's the quarterback?" Before they could finish the question, he said, "Aiden."
Yeah.
Man, you my guy for life right there. Get Jimmy ass out of there, bro.
Yeah. When you trying to, yeah.
No, man. Garoppolo, I was hopeful again, optimistic, bro.
You was hopeful like
I'm cooking fools in Madden, so I know it ain't that hard.
You call him Garoppolo now, so you feel it. You feel it up in here.
I said I'm sorry, bro. I said I'm sorry, bro. I am
not.
I am a full-grown man. I will accept all my mistakes. I was wrong, bro. That boy is terrible. The boy bad. He not good, man.
You know who loves this? Brian, because Brian was saying he was terrible even when we were going to Super Bowl.
Hey.
He was saying, man.
When he first got to San Francisco, I was
Right.
He
right.
did. Hey,
Right.
and again, I'm the optimist. We got Westbrook. We got these players. I'm like, let me give him a chance. That's always me.
You
Let me
are
see.
definitely the optimist of us.
That boy got
Jason
chances.
And I sell out quick.
You know who Brian remind me of with Garoppolo? Me, how I am with quarterbacks. He was right away. Hell no.
He's terrible.
Nope.
That boy's bad.
With
so
Garoppolo, that was exactly what I was. And I just called him Garoppolo too.
He deserves it. Like Mom said, I hope he goes into acting. God bless you, bro. But get up off of my roster. That boy is terrible, fool. I can't wait to start throwing passes with Aiden. Shout out to Jimmy, man. I get it. Stuff happens, but man, that was a rough stretch.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Lakers update. They're up by 8. I know we're moving on to the last couple segments.
Good.
It's 105, 100 now. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So last week we had games fine. We're kind of at the end of the show. We've already been almost an hour. So if we can, let's just do this week what games you're looking for. We can pick up on the NFL again next week. But this week, going ahead, tell me what you're looking forward to. Obviously, Dolphins Chiefs on Sunday night. That's going to be
Sunday morning, right? Ever. Isn't that in New England?
Oh, it's in Germany. Germany.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. 6:30.
Terrible. Yep. I thought that was a night game. It's the Bills and the
McDaniels did his speech in Germany. It was kind of amusing.
I saw that. Word. Okay, you got that.
Who do I like? I'm gonna go Dolphins.
Me too. Okay. Yeah. Kansas City does not have a lot of speed on the outside. I like the Miami Dolphins too.
Quick hitters. Play to other people's skill sets and make games that should be like easily winnable, ugly. And this is not an easily winnable game. And I think that they'll figure it out.
Quick hitters, Vikings, Falcons. Desmond Ritter's not playing. Tyler Heineke's playing.
Yeah, it's Taylor Heineke versus Jaron Hall. You could flip a coin. I am going to pick my team, not with confidence, but because I get 4.5 points if I do, which is crazy when you have no idea what either of these quarterbacks are about to do.
Oh, I do.
So I would go with the Vikings on this and take the 4.5 points. Anyone listening to me, don't bet this game. Like sit it out. Like don't bet, but 4.5 points.
Brian, I'll do it for you. Took the Vikings last week against Green Bay. I'm taking them against Tyler Heineken. All the Vikings got to do is just stop him from running. That's it. Make him pass often if you can. Yes. So I'm taking the Vikings.
Niners off this week, right?
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
All right. Cowboys, Eagles, Sunday afternoon.
Man, I don't trust the Cowboys in Philadelphia. But the problem is Dallas. But the problem is Dallas has a better chance of being the Eagles in Philly than they do at home. So I'm definitely taking Philly when they play in Dallas. This game, I'm taking Philly close in this game.
Yeah, it's a 3-point spread. I'll take Philly.
I'm taking Philly.
That's all I got.
Bills, Buffalo, Cincinnati? Bills, Cincinnati?
Yeah, Bills, Bengals, Sunday night.
That's a huge game.
Cincinnati's playing well, and Buffalo has injuries. I don't care about that trade they made for Rasul Douglas, I believe.
Buffalo I'm taking always loses these games.
Yeah, I'm taking Buffalo loses big games like Dallas. You're right. I'm taking Cincinnati. They're streaking right now. Looks like Burrow's over his injury. They look good last week. They look good the week before. I'm taking the Bengals.
So I'm taking the Bengals too, but it's because I think Allen's injury is more serious than they want to let on. It's a shoulder injury.
We say this every year.
And it's in his throwing arm. That's a significant problem to have against a good team that's streaking. So I take the Bengals as well.
I got one more tidbit. One more, Brian. Chargers are playing at the Jets. That's an
man. I said we was done, bro. Why are you bringing them up? You said they were off your list.
No. Man, I said I'm not going to talk extensively.
Coop's been muted, man. We ain't talking about no damn Jets and Chargers, man. Last segment.
Is this around the horn now?
It is, bro. It's turned in. Last segment, man. We ain't talking about no damn Jets and Chargers, man.
For you anyway. I'll take the Chargers. I know you probably will take the Jets.
Go ahead and unmute, Coop.
Glenn really muted me. I am going to take the Chargers. All right, moving on. Go ahead.
All right. Damn. I saw the game. I was getting off this, man. Ain't nobody trying to talk about neither of them damn teams, bro. Man. All right. Last couple segments. Thank y'all for letting me host and talk my ish too. I love you guys. Last couple segments, minute to first hogwash. Mine is super fast. I already told you who they were. They're off my team. Y'all go ahead.
Hogwash. I don't really have an hogwash segment this week. I really don't. Yeah, it could have been the
Mine is
Bears.
is
Go ahead.
these refs continue to be really, really bad. And it's
Now you
gotten
feel us.
where it is nonstop IG conspiracy theories about it getting paid, about like when you get to a level of incompetence where conspiracy theories start sounding like history lessons, that's a problem. And it's something that the league needs to address. It is absolute hogwash that the league has not done something to address the concerns. This is a multi-billion-dollar business, and they need to do something to restore faith that big games and big moments will not be ruined by the refereeing that's going on. It's hogwash if they don't.
Well said. Agreed.
Mhm.
A minute to win it, man. Mine is real quick. Shout out to Coop's alma mater, Howard University, with the first HBCU figure skating team. I love
Wow,
firsts.
didn't know
I
that.
love I love firsts anyway. Men, women, minority, black, whatever. Um, it's cool. You had a couple of young ladies who went over there who used to figure skate. They didn't have it at Howard. They created a club. They actually made a team out of it. Awesome.
Oh man, that's cool. I don't have a minute to win it, but thank you everybody for listening, and everybody that has subscribed. I got some new subscribers on Peerless One Sports on Twitter and Dub Club. Thank you for that as well.
Appreciate y'all. Pete?
Yeah, on UB.
I'll just say rest in peace to Bob Knight. There's other Matthew Perry. He passed. I'm sorry. Is the Friends actor. And then the situation in the Middle East has just gotten so bad. But my heart goes out to all of the innocent people of either side who are caught in the middle of something that is only going to get worse. And then let's not forget about what's going on between Russia and Ukraine, because there's a lot of innocent people who are dying there. I have a coworker who has family that live out there, and their city was bombed, and they were literally just at home and had to go through that. I can't imagine a domestic war. I never want to. I hope that I never have to experience that. But my heart goes out to anyone who's in the middle of that, because that's something that's unavoidable. They are not the politicians. They're not the ideologists. They're not saying this or saying that. They're just trying to live life.
100%. Well said. Well said, B. We'll catch y'all next time.